So I'm out here at the green waste area, seeing if I can find some logs to carve a bowl. Looks like I found something pretty interesting. This looks like Bradford pear is my best guess. And yeah, pretty big logs. So I'm gonna see if I can get in my car. That'll do. Starting to hear it go a little bit. Success, we were able to split the log. After splitting it, I can definitely confirm this is Bradford pear, which is a very nice wood for carving bowls. Now obviously the best type of wood is the wood that you have available, but here are some other options that you may want to be looking for. The last bowl I carved was made of black cherry. It's a native tree to the eastern United States. It tends to have pretty long, straight grain. It's a good combination of a hardwood but not being too hard and relatively nice to carve. This huge 42-inch bowl was also carved from black cherry. This bowl was carved from silver maple, which is a slightly softer maple, significantly softer than a sugar maple. And it has this streaking, and that's generally caused by ambrosia beetle damage and subsequent fungal infections. And you can see that gives it a nice character to the wood. The harder maples are also very nice to carve, but obviously just take a little more oomph to carve out the inside of the bowl. Black walnut is another very nice wood. It has this really high contrast between the white sapwood and the dark heartwood. If you get a chance to carve this, you definitely don't want to pass it up. This bowl is made from Osage Orange. It has this very yellow wood. It looks otherworldly when you first cut into it. It does oxidize to a slightly more orange or brownish color over time. The grain pattern on this wood is very pretty, very distinct, but there are two downsides. One is it's one of the hardest woods in North America, and two, it generally doesn't grow very straight, so getting a large piece with straight grain is difficult. And this is the only other bowl I've carved of Bradford pear. Nice tight grain, starts off a very salmony color and then oxidizes to a little bit more brown. It tends to have wavy grain, which gives it this nice pattern, but sometimes that can make it a little difficult to carve. So the last thing we needed to decide is the orientation that we want to have the wood in order to make our bowl. And we have two options. One option is a little bit more natural, where you have this flat middle of the bowl as the top, and then this curved area going down to the bottom of the bowl. But the other option is to have this curved area be the top of the bowl and the bottom of the bowl being the inside. And that gives it a little bit of character, and it also allows you to see sequential growth rings as you go deeper into the bowl. These two black walnut bowls are perfect examples of that. This bowl was carved with the Barkside up. So you see this rim of sapwood, and you also see sequentially smaller growth rings as you go down into the hollow of the bowl. The other thing you notice is that the ends of the bowl are taller than the sides because of that curvature. This bowl was carved with the flat side on the top and the curve of the bowl on the bottom, and that's why you see the heartwood here and then the sapwood as we go deeper. So here you're going to see relatively quick changes of grain on the ends, and then it's going to be relatively flat in the middle. This also allows you to have a bowl that's flat along the top, and generally you can make a slightly larger bowl for a given size of wood. When surveying the wood you have, one of the things you want to look for is whether or not the curvature of the bark is pretty even. So on this blank, you can see the curvature of this bark is relatively uneven, and so it wouldn't be a great candidate for a bark side up bowl, and this side would be better to have the middle of the log facing up. Now this side has a relatively even curvature to the bark, so this would be a good candidate to have the bark side up as the bowl. Now, since the last bowl I carved with the bark side up with this curvature, I'm going to go ahead and switch it up and make a bowl that has the inside of the bowl facing up. So I'm going to use this half of the log. Hopefully you'll join me for the next episode when I prepare this log and draw our design. Happy carving, everyone.